you sure you're not going to speak today? You said that you would join in. This was supposed to be a double act, but I guess I'm going to be doing all of the talking myself. My name is Roz. I'm known internationally as the Mannequin Lady. And I'm here today to tell you a conventional success story that was both unexpected and, I hope, inspiring. In 1994, I had an African art shop in Somerset, and I went and flew to Central Africa to go and live there for 10 years to work with the artists, making the art and sending it back to the UK. I was there for 10 years, and it was a really wonderful experience, but a relationship broke down meant that my whole life was about to change. So I asked my mum, "Mum, can you please bail us out with some air tickets?" Which she did. And in 2004, myself, my 2 sons, and 4 cardboard boxes of things touched down at Heathrow. And I remember the day so well because it was a beautiful, sunny day, full of hope and optimism. But deep down, I had no idea what I was going to do. Financially, I was completely broke, but I had everything because I had my 2 boys in my hands. In order to be able to try to fix my future, I looked to my past. I'd had an African art retail shop. Surely I could be a retail consultant. And so I set up a website that displayed just that, and I wrote so much content. All the boring stuff like employing people, boring stuff like stock management, and then exciting stuff like window displays. And it was when I was thinking about all of these different ideas for what more content could I put on my website that a little voice just said, "Mannequins." I'd never, ever worked with mannequins before, but of course they are part of retail. So I went and did my research. How much content could I write about these? And I just found a really, really fascinating world. So I thought, let me take this opportunity. I'll create a website, a web page that has mannequins listed on it, and let's hire them out. This will be good fun. So there was a picture of Dave, who I described him as somebody who doesn't get much action, but maybe if you hired him for your event, you could give him a really good time. There was Zara. She's a Piscean, and she doesn't like pineapple on her pizza. I was bringing these characters to life. Within 24 hours, my phone started ringing. "Oh, hello, you are hiring mannequins. Please, can we have 8 in London next week?" But I didn't have any mannequins. So I took their phone number, and I went and I made myself a cup of tea, went out into the garden, about the same sort of time that it would take you to check the warehouse for what sort of stock that you've got. And I came back and I phoned and I said, "I'm terribly sorry, they're all out on hire for at least 2 weeks. That evening again, a phone call from a concierge at a hotel in London who said, "We've got a client here who needs a couple of mannequins to do a display on. Can you help us?" Terribly sorry, they're all out on hire at the moment. What am I going to do? So I went to my mum, good old mum, and I said, "Mum, please buy me a mannequin." And she said, "What on earth do you want a mannequin for?" And I said, "Well, I've just hit on something, and I just want to go with the flow because I think it could be quite exciting." And so Stephanie arrived. I kept on collecting them. So in my house, the house was filling up with mannequins. I rented a shipping container just down the road. That also filled up with mannequins. Then the mannequins had to come back into the house. My children are complaining that they cannot see the TV for bums and boobs. And so I bought a party-sized gazebo, thinking, how big is this thing going to get? And the party-sized gazebo went into the garden with, mannequins in there. All this time, there were more orders coming through. So I bit the bullet, and I went and I got a 1,000 square foot warehouse. Not big enough. 2,000 square foot warehouse. 4,000 square foot warehouse. And I was about 4 years into this business. I was renting 8,000 square foot of warehousing. I had 10 people working for me and a turnover just shy of £500,000. I had a chat with Stephanie, and I said, what should we do next? And she said, I think we need to buy our own piece of land. And so that's what we did. And we found this wonderful property in the middle of the countryside that used to be an RAF base during the Second World War. Stephanie, if she could speak right now, she'd tell you that this was really exciting because A, she'd abducted her human, but she also knew something really big was coming. A phone call happened. A friend from a long time ago, I see what you're doing. You're hiring these mannequins out. We've got about 100 here that need to go into the bin. Would you like them? So I said, well, of course. How many? About 100. And then over the course of 3 or 4 months, around about 10,000 of them had turned up on this property. I telephoned him and said, are you having a laugh? He said, do you not want them? And I didn't want to tell him that I was having these conversations with Stephanie, but I did say that I feel like I've been chosen. There's a problem here and it needs solving. So let me go with the flow. Let me see what I can do. In total, at that time, around about 25,000 of them had arrived at this property. When they first started coming, it was very easy to organize them, but the mountains of mannequins that were there at that time were just incredible. Funnily enough, it actually attracted quite a lot of attention, which means that, yes, I'm known internationally as the mannequin lady, because the amount of press, the amount of interviews that I've done has just been phenomenal. I took Stephanie down to this big pile of mannequins, and I said to her, all right then, smarty pants, what's our next move? And she said to me, we've already got a really, really good process for hiring them out. So look at everything that is here. You've now got a sustainable bank of mannequins that anybody can use for events, TV, film, whatever the occasion might be where a mannequin might go. Then, she said, we can sell a few. And I'm looking at this mountain and I'm thinking, but what about all the broken bits? What are we going to do with those? The mannequins are made out of fiberglass predominantly, and it's something that doesn't decompose and is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to actually recycle as a raw material. So the reuse of them is extremely important. And I said to her, I've got a really good idea. Halloween. It's an event that happens every single year. And mannequin body parts just go really, really well at Halloween. And what people could do is that they could fill their car boots with mannequin body parts. They can take them home, decorate their gardens. At the end, after Halloween, they can put them back in their sheds and then bring them out again for next Halloween. And the best thing about that, the worse they look, the better it is. Another conversation that I've had with Stephanie is, you've chosen me as the mannequin lady, but why me? And she tells me that it was perfect timing. You had the business acumen, you had the creativity, you had the resilience, and you had the love of sustainability. You, she tells me, were our only hope. And as Stephanie and I sit down in the evenings together and we have our dinner and we raise a glass to each other and we say, that all of this effort, all of this plan, all of this journey to reuse and save a community of mannequins was well worth the effort. Thank you.